Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. A friend of mine gave me this garage door opener board. They replaced his as it was defective. And he knows that I like to tinker with electronics, so he gave it to me to see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. Anyway, using a visual inspection, we found a blown component, and I'll show you under the microscope in a moment. So he ordered a replacement part for this. Now, in the meantime, I had done some checks around the board for various things, and I discovered a short on a voltage regulator here. Again, I'll show you in a moment. But I'm hoping that by replacing the blown component that the short on the voltage regulator will go away. Okay, let's go under the microscope and we'll take a quick look. First, let me show you a close-up of the board on the overhead camera. This is the component here that was blown, and it was easy to see it using a visual inspection under the microscope. And this component here is the voltage regulator where I found the short. Okay, let's go under the microscope. So this is the component that's blown, and it's obvious from the crater in it, right there. So this is the ULN 2003A, which is a 7 Darlington array chip. And then to the left of this, right here, is the 7805 CD2T, which is the 5-volt voltage regulator that I found that was shorted. The ground, which is basically the tab up here, the ground is shorted to the right pin, which I believe that's the voltage out. Let's measure that and let's see. Okay, I'm in diode mode. It's the tab here, which is ground, and here. Yeah, so this is shorted. The in here is not shorted, only the out. And the in and out are not shorted. Alright, so the plan basically, because I need to work, there's this behemoth of a transformer here, and removing it is a bit hard, but if there's a need for that, I will do it. But I think for now what I'm going to do is simply remove, there's a capacitor right there. There we go, that capacitor, the blue capacitor. I want to remove it because I want to use hot air on the blown component, the Darlington array IC, and I want to remove it without worrying about the capacitor blowing up in my face. Plus I'm going to put maybe a bit of aluminum tape over this part here, right here, because there's like plastic components and I don't trust my skills enough not to melt them. So I'm going to put like a bit of aluminum tape here. And then we'll use hot air to remove the blown component. Alright, I'm going to start by adding a bit of fresh solder on the capacitor pins here. Now I'm going to use some solder braid, solder wick to remove the, to clear the holes, so that later when I need to install it, it will be ready. Okay, so this is what I ended up with. I put a bit of aluminum foil to cover the plastic parts, and now I'm gonna remove the IC, which is right there. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of flux, perhaps that will help, and then we'll bring in the hot air and there we go. 400 degrees Celsius, 50% airflow on an Aten ST862D. Here we go. I think I should have used a bigger nozzle, but anyway, let's see how well we get on. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Bit of a cleanup. Oh, that is what it's about. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but the indication for pin 1 was at the top, right here, right next to the C33. I'm going to add some fresh leaded solder on the pads before I reflow the new chip in. Again, a quick cleanup. My friend ordered the replacement chips. It came in a box, 20 of them. I think he said like $1.25, and it came in a reel like this. There's 20 of them. So I'm going to remove one of them and we'll flow it into the board. Alright, I've got the component right here. Let's get it into position on the board. Just like that. And now I'm going to come in with, again, 400 degrees. Wait, let me add a bit of flux. Just a tiny bit for now. And then we'll add some more maybe a bit later. Okay. And I'm going to come in with, again, 400 degrees, but only 20% airflow. Let's check if the pins are solid. The pins are all very solid. Let's give it a quick clean. Alright, let's check for the shorts. I forgot to mention before that the third pin here on the ULN 2003 was also shorted. And there was another one here, but I forgot which pin it was. It may have been the last one here or the one next to it. So let's check these first, and then we'll check the voltage regulator that we tested at the beginning of the video. Alright, so I'm going to put my red probe on the voltage regulator ground, which is the tab. Here we go. And then I'm going to touch pin 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it still shows shorted. Interesting. And here, no, no, no. But the short on the other side is gone. Now this one is ground, I think, the last one. No, this is ground here. Yeah. Pin number 3. And pin number 3 is going to this chip here. Now, if this chip is damaged, I think it's game over. Anyway, so it looks like, well, okay, so pin 3 is still shorted. Let me see if the voltage regulator is still shorted. So it was the tab and the output. Yeah, it's still shorted. So I don't know. Looks like this may not be fixable. Because if it's this chip here, it's definitely game over. Alright, let me give this a bit of a think and I'll come back to the video. Alright, well, since we're still seeing the short on this voltage regulator, I think I'm going to remove the voltage regulator next, and let's see if that clears the short. Maybe the voltage regulator itself is shorted. So let me add some fresh solder to it, and then we'll use some hot air and remove it. Again, 400 degrees Celsius at 50% airflow. You know what, let me remove the nozzle. I need a bigger nozzle. I'll be back. And we're back. I knocked off that little capacitor there next to the voltage regulator here, but I was able to recover it. So if need be, I can reinstall it. Let's check if that third pin on the chip is still shorted. Ground and third pin. Yeah, still shorted. What about the ground to out? ground to out. Yeah, still shorted also. I don't think there's anything wrong with the voltage regulator. Let me check it here. This is the tab and the output pin. No, it does show shorted. Interesting. Oh no, I'm on the wrong setting. Okay, now we're on diode. Tab. No, no shorts. No, there's no short between the tab and the output. Alright, so I'm gonna return these components since they are not to blame. Let me get them in place and then 400 degrees, 20% airflow. So it's unfortunate, but I think this is not going to be repairable because the short is still there on both the voltage regulator and the chip. So let me give this a bit more thought and see if there's anything else I can think of. So now that I suspect it's the this main chip that's shorted, I did some more checking around it. And look at these caps below it. I'm gonna use diode mode so you can hear the shorts. Red probe on a ground, and there's this cap here. Shorted, and this cap here. Shorted, and each one goes to a different pin. This one goes to a pin here. This one goes to a pin here. Different pin. And then there's a cap here. Short, short, and this one basically through this resistor go to this pin here. Right here. So anyway, so I'm seeing a lot of signs that basically this chip is blown. So I might just remove it. To end this video, I might just remove it and see if all the shorts go away. And it'll be a no fix, but at least we'll know what the problem was. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and remove this chip. That's the highest my microscope can go, so I can't give you a better view. Let's do it. Only degrees, 50% airflow. And the chip is out. Alright, let's check for shorts. Again, you'll hear the beep if there's a short, like this. Okay. There we go. The short is gone. And let's see with pin number 3. Pin number 3. Here we go. Short is gone. And those 2-3 capacitors that we tested before. Yeah, no short there, and this is probably ground. Yeah, this is ground on this one. Yeah, on the other side, no short. So basically, this chip, I'm going to put it back so you can see it. This is the chip that was shorted. It's some type of a microcontroller. And so unless we have another one of these boards that's faulty and that we can extract this chip from, there's no way to fix it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and see you on the next one. Bye bye.